Over the past few years, you may have noticed a quiet revolution going on at Audi. Now, in the old days, they stood shoulder to shoulder with their partners Volkswagen, and in most cases, they shared dealer premises. There were over 350 Audi VW dealerships, and they sold 16,000 Audis in 1989. That's because the salesman knew that their bread and butter was the Golf and the Polo, and Audi sales were seen as incremental add-ons when a customer came along. Now, when the new MD, Len Hunt, arrived from Jaguar some 4 years ago, he at once embarked on an ambitious program of separating Audi off from Volkswagen, establishing new premises and, where possible, styling them on the space-age technology of the customer delivery center at Ingolstadt in Germany. They're called hangars, and there's some 40 of them in the UK at the moment, and the number of Audi dealers has fallen to just 135. So why the move away from Volkswagen? Well, most importantly, to generate a separate identity for Audi so that they could take on their target market, BMW, head on and beat them at their own game. No other two franchises up to then had worked so closely together in the same premises as Audi and Volkswagen.
We had to brand separate Audi from Volkswagen to really create a network. We felt that certainly the research was telling us that we had the lowest recall of any franchise from street presence. People were saying, well, you buy Audis from Volkswagen dealers. So we set forth on a strategy to create 135 Audi centres, as we call them, and really see that strategy coming to fruition in 1998.
I mean, you say that, but Volkswagen's image is of reliability. I mean, is it such a bad name to be associated with?
I don't think it's bad at all. I think it's different, and I think that's what our customers want. We see the sort of brand Audi offering so much more of a different package. We like to think we're sort of modern, innovative, individual, and the brand values that we try and put together are complementary, and in many instances we are together with Volkswagen. But I think we want to offer the customer that different, more prestige car feel. We're going for about 2% market share, which is sort of doubling our market penetration of some 5 years ago, going from 1% to 2%. But that in the prestige world, I think, is about the right sort of volume. You can see BMW slightly in front of that, they're at about 60,000, and people like Volvo in front of that as well, and people like Saab coming through, and Jaguar building their way into that segment. So it really is, I think it's about right, it's 40,000 units, 2% market share in a 2 million market.
And you think you can do that with 135 dealers?
What we're trying to say is that there is a level of business that you always try and get that makes the franchise viable, but equally concerned about distances customers have to travel to get their car serviced. I think people would naturally travel further to buy a car than they would to have the car serviced. So you've got a magical formula that sort of says for that level of business, about 40,000 cars, 2% market share, we see about 135 dealers giving us the geographic coverage, but giving each dealer a territory sustaining that level of business.
I mean, how far will people travel to get their cars serviced?
I think people tend to worry if they've got to drive beyond about 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes.
Now, you always said that BMW is your target. How are you doing against that target?
In 1997, the A3 outsold the BMW Compact. And when we look at the A4 against the BMW 3 Series, if we actually take a like for like, that is a four-door saloon and the estate together, actually Audi A4 outsold BMW 3 Series.
But while BMW sells 65,000 cars a year in the UK, Len Hunt says he's not going after them car for car, because quality and not quantity is his watchword. Now, while the number of outlets has fallen under Hunt's direction, sales have been building rapidly. The target is to sell 40,000 new cars and 30,000 used cars in 1999, but they look like achieving that in 1998. So, what's it like working in a hangar?
The actual concept is that all Audi dealers will eventually look all the same. So a customer can walk into White's Camberley and get the ambient feeling of the place, and then go up to a dealership up in Scotland and walk into exactly the same type of showroom.
Is that what customers want? Don't they want individuality in their own backyard?
I think it's really getting an idea of what Audi have got to offer, and giving the retail experience, because what we're aiming to do is give a better quality of service so that the Audi showroom they walk into here and also down at our service department will be exactly the same.
Number of dealers is coming down to 135. You're going to sell an awful lot more cars. Does that mean you won't be able to cope with, for instance, the service business?
We've actually operating a shift program using I think we've got at the moment 3 different teams. So we're covering hours from 7 o'clock in the morning till 7 o'clock at night, 6 days a week. And I don't think that's going to have any effect on actual the service provided by White's for after sales.
It's a big gamble for Audi. Heavy investment from the dealers, centres, heavy investment from the marketing team in the UK, and heavy investment from the factory. But with the success of the saloon car racer paying off in terms of the age of the young executives who want to be seen in Audis, the gamble looks like paying off. Audi really has discovered that everyone's different.